In this video, we are going to solve 20 very hard fill-in-the-blanks questions together. So I will give you the practice question, and you will have 20 seconds to try to find the answer, just like on the real test. Then I will show you the correct answer and explain how you could have gotten that correct answer. To do this, we're going to use Arno. So this is the Arno homepage. This is what it looks like when you create your free account. And inside Arno, you can practice every question type on the DET for free as much as you like. So all you need to do is click into practice, and then you'll see all of the question types here. Today we're going to be working on fill in the blanks, so I'll click on that. And then you can even filter by difficulty, so we're going to be working on very hard questions today. And then I'll just ask Arno to pick one for me. So here is the first practice question. The doctor explained that washing your hands can help prevent the spread of BACT blank 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 blank, which cause illnesses. So, are you able to get this answer? All right, we'll keep answering even though the time is up. The correct answer would be bacteria. Bacteria. Okay, and down below you can see that Arno will give you the translation of the incomplete word into whatever language you choose. I'm learning Spanish because I live in Mexico at the moment, so I have it translating into Spanish. But of course you can choose whatever language you are most proficient in. So the correct answer here is bacteria. All right, so how did I know that this was the correct answer? Well, the main clue was here. So I knew that whatever the incomplete word had to be something that causes illnesses, that makes people sick. The other clue I used was that washing your hands, okay? So using those two clues, it was clear to me that the missing word was bacteria. And also, of course, I was given the first four letters, B-A-C-T. I don't know of another word in English that starts with B-A-C-T other than bacteria. So that enabled me to get the correct answer. All right, let's go to the next one. Every morning she seems to CR blank 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 a strong cup of coffee to start her day. The correct answer here is crave. Crave. So crave means to want something very strongly. So in case you want to know the meaning, I should have pointed this out before. Just click on this and we'll give you the examples and we'll give you synonyms and definitions as well. So crave, again, means to want something very strongly. So in this case, this was a tricky one because the rest of the sentence didn't really give us a ton of clues. I knew that it needed to be a verb because she seems to requires a verb, right? She seems to be tired. She seems to want coffee, for example. So I knew that I needed a verb. But this, the verb that could go in here just needed to match a strong cup of coffee to start her day. So there are a lot of words that could have made sense. You know, she seems to enjoy a strong cup of coffee to start her day. But I really needed to look at the letters that were given, CR, and that made it clear to me, so the word has to be crave, right? So every morning she seems to want a strong cup of coffee to start her day. That makes a lot of sense. But want obviously doesn't fit, but crave means a very similar thing to want, and it fits. So that's how I arrived at the correct answer. The gym membership was useless for John because he remained INAC blank 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 despite his good intentions. Okay, The correct answer here would be inactive. Inactive. Okay. I was able to get this answer in the following way. So, a gym membership was useless for John. So, you have to think, why would a gym membership be useless to somebody? Then, I knew that I needed an adjective because he remained here is a structure we use then with an adjective, right? So he remained tired, he remained sad, he remained happy, he remained inactive. So I knew that I needed an adjective, and those two combined allowed me to come up with the correct answer. So John was something. I needed some adjective to describe John that would indicate that a gym membership was useless for him. So if John is inactive, meaning he doesn't do physical exercise, then a gym membership would obviously be useless for him. So there you go. All right, next one. Before the rain started, they had just enough time to CO blank 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 the furniture with a tarp. The correct answer here would be cover. Cover. So the key vocabulary, I think, would be tarp. So a tarp is a plastic sheet, and we use tarps to protect things or to put it overhead so that when it rains, we don't get wet, or things like furniture doesn't get wet. Then the other clue was that before the rain started, they had just enough time. So the rest of the sentence made the mental image, the scene, very clear for me. So people saw that it was about to rain, so they ran outside with a tarp, and they started to put the tarp over their furniture so that it didn't get wet. So with that clear mental image, with a clear picture of the scene, then it became clear that the word I was looking for was cover. Right? So people ran outside with the tarp to cover the furniture so that it didn't get wet. Next. Every Friday evening, the family likes to DI blank blank at their favorite Italian restaurant. The correct answer here would be dine. Dine. So the first clue that jumped out to me was that I knew I needed a verb, and that's because of this structure here. So the family likes to dine, likes to do something, right? Likes to sleep, likes to eat, likes to dine. So I knew that dine needed to be a verb. Then the other big clue was this, at their favorite Italian restaurant. So in English, a common phrase is to dine at a restaurant. So when we talk about going to a restaurant or eating at a restaurant, we very often say to dine at a restaurant. And then, of course, here we only had two missing letters, so DI, which we were given, was a strong clue that the incomplete word was dine. Next one. The room was decorated with FES blank 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 lights and colorful ornaments for the holiday celebration. The correct answer here would be festive. So this word is quite advanced, but it is very similar to a word that you may be familiar with, which is festival. Festival. So things like Carnival is a festival, right? Or Diwali is the festival of lights. So a festival is a celebration, a big holiday. And festive is the adjective form of festival. So festival is a noun. Festive is the adjective. It means things that would be appropriate for a festival. So the key clues here for festive would be holiday celebration. Okay, so it's saying the room was decorated with lights and colorful ornaments, and the decorations were there because of a holiday celebration. So festival is a very similar word to celebration. So that was a strong clue that the adjective that I would need to describe the ornaments and the lights would be something related to celebration. So once that was clear on my mind, then the letters that I was given, FES, made it absolutely clear to me that the correct word would be festive. So if it's not clear by now, the process that you use for these questions is you need to identify clues in the rest of the sentence, so using grammar and the meaning of words in order to indicate what is the incomplete word. And of course, you have to do this quickly because you only have 20 seconds. But that's why if you practice a lot in Arno for free, again, you can get very fast and good at doing this. So we also have a full masterclass. I should have mentioned that at the beginning, but there's a link up here on fill in the blanks questions so that you can learn these strategies that I'm using here in these practice questions. Okay, next question. The town held a special ceremony in COMMEM blank, 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 blank of its 200th anniversary. Okay, the correct answer here would be commemoration. This is, see, I misspelled it. Okay, I'll talk about that. So this is probably the most difficult one we've had so far. A commemoration means more or less a celebration. Okay, it's a way to celebrate, especially an important historical moment. So the key clue here, or I guess there were two clues, was special ceremony. Right, a commemoration is a type of ceremony, and for its 200th anniversary. So 200th anniversary makes clear that this is a important historical event, which means that commemoration would be a very appropriate word for this context. Now, I misspelled commemoration. Had I taken the time to proofread my response, I think I could have fixed this mistake. But because I was moving fast and I was talking, I didn't pay close enough attention to what I was writing. But the important lesson here is that you should really save time to proofread your response. I know that's hard because you only have 20 seconds for fill in the blanks. However, even though I knew the correct answer, simply because I didn't save time to proofread, I'm going to lose some points because I misspelled the word. You get partial credit for your answers on the DET, including fill in the blanks. So you can see that all of these letters in green were correct. So I'm only going to lose points for the one incorrect letter, but still, it's not full points simply because I didn't save time to proofread my response. All right, next one. The annual family GATH blank, 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 blank was held at the park where everyone enjoyed a picnic and games. The correct answer here would be gathering. The annual family gathering was held at the park where everyone enjoyed a picnic and games. Often on the DET for fill in the blanks questions, the incomplete word will be part of a idiom or an expression. So family gathering is a very common expression in English. It means when a family comes together for a birthday party, for a meal. Anytime a family comes together, we describe that as a family gathering. So even before I read the rest of the sentence, as soon as I read the annual family and then I saw these missing letters, I knew that the answer was gathering. So this very well may happen for you on the test, where as you are reading the sentence and you see the beginning of the incomplete word, your brain may just come up with the correct answer without even reading the rest of the sentence and getting any clues, because your brain is familiar with a certain expression or idiom. So again, in this case, family gathering, I've seen that hundreds of times, thousands of times in English, so my brain knew immediately, okay, that's the incomplete word, is gathering. Eating a NUTRI blank 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 breakfast every day is essential for maintaining energy levels and overall health. All right, the correct answer here would be nutritious. Let me proofread. Nutritious. Yes, correct. All right, so this is another example where my brain, the correct answer popped up in my brain before I even read the entire sentence, because a nutritious breakfast is another expression that's used a lot in English. So in English, we like to say that a nutritious breakfast is so important for our health. If I needed to spend time to try to figure out what the correct answer was, then the key clue here would be essential for maintaining energy levels and then especially overall health. Okay, so this part here indicates the meaning of the incomplete word. So I needed a word that meant something that is essential for maintaining energy levels and overall health. I knew it needed to be an adjective because it came before breakfast, so it's modifying breakfast. And then it starts with NUTRI. So those are three very strong clues that would help you to figure out that the word you're looking for is nutritious, which means good for your health, full of nutrients, something that gives you energy all day long. Despite their differences, they managed to RECO blank 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 and rebuild their friendship. All right, the correct answer here would be reconcile. Despite their differences, they managed to reconcile and rebuild their friendship. So the two clues here were, one, despite their differences. So despite their differences means they had differences. However, they were able to overcome those differences. Then the other one is rebuild their friendship. So they overcame differences and they rebuilt their friendship. So I'm looking for a word that means those things, that indicates those things. And then reconcile would be the correct word. This is another quite advanced word. You may not be familiar with it, but it literally means to overcome differences, to rebuild a relationship or repair a relationship. The doctor explained that an early DIAG blank 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 could significantly improve the chances of successful treatment. Okay. The correct answer here is diagnosis. Diagnosis. So a diagnosis is when we are sick, we go to the doctor, and they tell us, you have the flu, or you have this disease. So the clues here, well, one is an early diagnosis is a common phrase in English as well. So this is another example of where reading this sentence, the doctor explained that an early, and then I see D-I-A-G, and the answer pops into my brain immediately, diagnosis. But the clues that made me very confident that that was the correct answer is that if you can get an early diagnosis, if you can catch a disease early or detect a disease early, then your chances of a successful treatment are much higher. So, for example, if you're able to catch or detect cancer early, then you can start treatment before the cancer spreads. So that was another strong clue that the word I was looking for would be a diagnosis. The weather forecast predicts a MI blank blank temperature perfect for a day at the park. The correct answer here would be mild, mild. So the clue here was this part at the end. Okay, so this perfect for a day at the park was the clue, and what it indicates is I need a word that means this. So I need a word that means perfect for a day at the park. So if you have a mild temperature means medium. Mild means medium, so not too much, not too little, in the middle. That's what mild means. And we use it often with temperature. So we will say a mild temperature instead of a medium temperature. I don't know why. We say high temperature, we say low temperature, and then mild temperature. We never say a medium temperature. So this clue made it clear that the word I was looking for was mild, in addition to, of course, the beginning MI, and then there's only two missing letters, so it was easy for me to identify that the incomplete word would be mild. To make the potatoes creamy, you need to MA blank blank them thoroughly before adding butter and milk. The correct answer here would be mash. Mash them. So the clues here are to make potatoes creamy. So creamy means smooth, like milk. So if you're making potatoes and you want them to be smooth, well, you have to do something to them. And what we do to potatoes to make them smooth is to mash them. It means to, like this, right? It's not cut, but it's like a tool, usually flat like this, and you hit the potatoes like this. You can also mash meat with like a hammer to make it flat and smooth as well. So mash means to kind of hit something like with a hammer or some kind of tool to make it smooth. She had to be careful not to SPR blank 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 her ankle while hiking on the rocky trail. The correct answer for this one is sprain. So I knew that it had to be sprain because she had to be careful not to, right? So this indicated, okay, what is something that we generally don't want to do, something we want to avoid doing. And then the other big clue was her ankle. So what is something we want to avoid doing to our ankle? Well, sprain it, right? Other possibilities could have been break or injure or all these other words, right? These are all things we don't want to do to our ankle, but because it was SPR, I knew that it had to be sprain. It couldn't be break or injure or any of these other possible words that came to mind. As the soup began to bubble, she used a wooden spoon to st blank blank it gently. The answer here would be stir, stir. So stir means to take a spoon and mix something, to stir a drink, to stir a soup. So this one was quite clear because when we're cooking and as something bubbles, we usually want to take a spoon to stir it so that it cooks evenly. So this is another example of where, with a clear mental image, so once I imagine the soup bubbling, and then somebody next to the soup, the chef, doing something, especially with a spoon, then by the time I got to the incomplete word, it was very clear what the answer was, which is stir. The other strong clue is stir gently is an expression you see a lot in English. So if you're cooking with a recipe, for example, and it has you stir something, often it will say stir gently. So it just means take the spoon softly like this instead of stirring very fast like this. This would be a fast or aggressive stir. So often the instructions in recipes say stir gently. So in this case, there was also this expression that that I have seen many, many times because I like to cook that made it easy to get this correct answer. The archaeologists hope to UNC blank 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 ancient artifacts buried beneath the ruins. The correct answer here would be uncover. Uncover. Nice. So the clues here would be ancient artifacts buried beneath the ruins. Okay, so that puts a mental image in my mind of ancient artifacts, but buried in the ground. They're hidden. And then archaeologists. Well, the image I have of archaeologists is that they're there on the ground digging up very carefully, right? Sometimes just with small brushes, some ancient artifacts or fossils or something buried in the ground. So that act of digging something up and using the brushes, there's different ways you can describe that. But in this case, the clues we had, or the letters we were given, were UNC, which made it clear that the only word that could fit here would be uncover. So you can see how I'm combining clues of different kinds, of course doing it quickly, to get the correct answer. When traveling for business, Jessica always makes sure to call her SPO blank 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 at the end of the day. The correct answer here is spouse. Spouse. So in this one, I had to read the whole sentence in order to know what the incomplete word is. And why is because I needed the full picture. So Jessica is traveling for business. She is away from home. And she calls somebody, she makes sure that she calls somebody at the end of every day. Okay, so if you're traveling away from home, who do you call every day? Well, your mother or father, your children, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife. So all these possibilities. But then I look at the letters that were given, and it's SPO, and that narrows it down to just one word, which is spouse. So spouse refers to husband or wife. So it's a way to talk about the significant other, as we also call it in English, of a person, if we don't know if they're a man or a woman. So spouse would be the correct word. The atmosphere in the room was SOL blank 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 as everyone gathered to pay their respects. Okay, the correct answer here would be solemn. This is probably the hardest question that we've seen so far. So let me break this one down. So the first clue I had was atmosphere in the room. In English, you can use many words to describe the atmosphere or the mood in a room, but there are certain words that we like to use often. So already my brain was thinking, okay, what are the words that I've seen used to describe the atmosphere in a room? And that kind of gave me maybe like 50 words that could be possible. Then the second clue was here, as everyone gathered to pay their respects. This is an idiom, a very specific idiom or expression that we use in English when describing funerals. So instead of saying, right, we went to a funeral today, a more elegant, maybe more polite way to describe that is to say, today we gathered to pay our respects to this person. So it's a way to indicate that you are there at the funeral of somebody in order to celebrate their life, in order to pay them respect. So that expression, when I read that, made it clear, okay, I am describing a funeral. So what would be the atmosphere that you would experience at a funeral? This actually depends on the country and the culture. In the U.S. and Western culture in general, funerals are quite sad. And a synonym for sad is solemn. So solemn means, basically sad, but it also implies thoughtful, meaning that people are sad, but they are thinking, they are reflecting, in particular about this person who passed away, but also their own life and their other loved ones and all of that. So I was able to extract all of those clues and then combine it, of course, with the letters that were given in the incomplete word, and solemn presented itself as the correct answer to me. On a hot summer day, nothing is more refreshing than a slice of juicy water blank 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 blank. The correct answer here would be watermelon. Watermelon. All right, so we eat watermelon when it's hot because it's very juicy, so it keeps us hydrated. And the other clue is, the other two clues I should say are, one, we eat typically a slice of watermelon. It's very big, so we cut it up into slices that we can hold and eat. And then also, watermelons are often described as juicy in English. It's almost an expression, if you will. So that also helped my brain to give me the correct answer. And then the final one was we were given water in the incomplete word. And I can't think of another word in English that starts with water and then has a second part, and one that is, especially combined with the other clues, something that we would want to eat on a hot summer day. So by the time I got to the incomplete word at the end, the answer was quite clear. The family planned a special event for their annual REU blank, 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 blank to celebrate being together. The answer here is reunion. So there were two clues that helped me to get this one. First is being together. Okay, so I knew that whatever this word is, it had to indicate the idea of being together. The other one is family. So it was specifically a family was hosting whatever this incomplete word was. In English, a family reunion is a very common thing. So we saw a family gathering before, which means like a birthday party or some small event. A family reunion is a bigger event. Often it takes place over multiple days where everybody comes together to spend a lot of time together. So I knew that I needed some event that would be appropriate for a family and that brought everybody together. And reunion is the clear word. So union means together and means again. So it literally means to bring everybody back together, which makes perfect sense in the context of a family when people live in different places and all gather in one place to spend time together. So that's it for the practice questions. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give it a like. That way I know that I should make more like it. Also, if you have ideas for what I should cover in future videos, please put a comment down below so that I can be sure to make the videos that are most helpful to you. All right, from here, I would recommend checking out that masterclass on fill in the blanks if you haven't done so already, so that you can really understand how to learn all the strategies and tips and tricks that I used to answer all of the questions in this video. Okay, I'll see you over in that lesson.